Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John once again from Flippin Ain't Easy. And what a day, I tell you. It's been a very hectic day. Real quick, while we wait for some people to kind of roll in here, want to thank the folks that are already here in the chat before the live stream. That's kind of cool. Sometimes I'll get in early and try to kind of chat with you guys if I can. A lot of times we do these live streams, at least me, I'm trying to get scrambled to kind of get my ducks in a row as to what I want to talk about. And today was kind of a challenge, but we're here. We made it on time. For those of you who are watching with us right now live, please need your help. Contribute to the conversation that we're going to have today with your comments and your questions, your reseller related questions. For those of you who are watching after the fact, sorry you couldn't make it with us today, but you can still participate. Comment down below, and your questions, your comments are certainly, I try to get to as many as I can because the channel's growing. I don't always get to every comment, and that's my bad on that, but I do what I can. You can ask a lot of people who've tried to interact with me that I do eventually get back to you, whether you email me, send me a message on Instagram. And I'm glad to, chat with you whenever I can. So because I'm just like you, I'm running an eBay business. I'm not always able to get back to you, as fast as I'd like to, but it's my goal to at least to try to help when I can. So with that said, happy Friday to everyone. Hopefully you guys had a good week with sales. My week has kind of been a roller coaster here and there. Had a really bad day yesterday in reselling. With my stats weren't all that good, and I've been listing a lot. I've been kind of busting my butt, so I don't want to let that bring me down. The traffic numbers are still there, so you know what? I just had a bad day. People saw my listings. They, the page views are there for just whatever the reason. eBay can show, they can lead them to water, but they can't make the buyer drink. And that kind of is what happened to me. And it happens to you as well. Don't let that bring you down, and don't get so focused on your sales numbers for a particular day. Look at the traffic. If you see high, swings or dips in your traffic, that is probably because you just didn't find the right buyer, or the buyer who is looking for your item bought from someone else. And that's going to happen a lot of times. And I was thinking about this today. A lot of times us sellers can kind of think, wow, they're not buying my item, but think about how many thousands upon thousands of other sellers who you're competing against, who are looking for the same item to sell. And it's sometimes going to be that way, where you're just going to be the odd man out and just not have a great day. And other days you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe I made this, much in sales today. So keep your head up and don't let one bad day bring you down. And I got to tell you, I had a pretty bad day. And then honestly, the fact that I'm doing the live stream is what's kind of making the highlight of my day. We're going to talk to you about that here in a minute. Want to say hi to some folks. We've got about 30 people in the chat, but we've got Hannah and Leah Thrift. They were quite early. They actually posted early this morning on this live stream. I didn't even notice that. I did reply to them. Matthew Barros is in the house. No One Design 2, Prosser Independent Trading Company, Ed the Reselling Writer, Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida is in the house. Savage Pickers, Biff Boffo, Ping G, 97 Deep Valley Road, Stamford, Connecticut. So thank you guys for showing up. I know that, I value your time. And, for those of you who just take time out of your day, maybe if you're on the East Coast, you're winding down, or maybe on the West Coast or anywhere in between, you're still kind of working and you're taking time from that to be here with us. It means a lot to me. And, again, I could just be some old guy sitting here talking to myself, but the fact that you guys have decided to make time out of your day, it truly means a whole lot to me. So thank you, especially when I'm not having the greatest day. It really means a lot that you guys would be there. So thank you. So today I'll tell you about my day, and then we'll talk about, the eBay open stuff. The plan for me today was to pick up a liquidation lot at 9 a.m. And I had that all worked out. And then the idea was to bring it back here, drop it off like I always do, and then go to Vicky and Katie. Katie and Vicky, they also have a YouTube channel, eBay related, and they're also in Vegas. They were hosting the Las Vegas chapter of the eBay Open today at 11 a.m. So went in, got the virtual tickets. They didn't cost anything. And the goal was for myself, my wife, I was going to meet Biscuit Butt down there and to, you know, hang out and check out what's going on with the eBay Open and then get back here for this live stream. Well, it didn't work out that way. And I owe them an apology. I don't know if they saw the RSVP or not, but owe them an apology because the goal was to be there and to network, again, to get off this island. But it didn't work out that way because I picked up a lot of goods and brought it back. And I'm probably going to put it on another video for you guys to see. But it was horrible, horrible. It was a large, huge Gaylord. I spent $450 almost after fees and all that. It was a huge Gaylord, about 800 pounds of merchandise. And normally I buy these Gaylords and I find that a lot of the times they're manifested. They're a little smaller Gaylords. They're not as tall as this one was. And I find a lot of good stuff. I'll get in there for like $300, $400, $500 and come out with about $2,000 to $3,000 in profit. It's usually that good. Well, I bought this one. I knew it was larger, knew it was heavier. They had covered it. Now that was kind of questionable to me, but I bought from this seller before, and many times before. In fact, I looked for lots from this seller. So we get it. Gets brought out. Now we normally load this stuff in the car out of the Gaylord because I don't have a truck. I have an SUV. Wife brought the car just in case I needed some overflow, which we did need. And I got to tell you, it was disappointing from the jump. It was about 75% food. Now Amazon, anything Amazon sells could be on this. Amazon sells food. And that wasn't such a bad thing. You know, I've dealt with lots that have had food before. But these lots, these liquidation lots had, now I'll just tell you, these liquidation lots had Halloween and Christmas returns, like decorations. What does that tell you? That tells you it's not even this year's merchandise. It's last year's merchandise, probably November-ish, October, November-ish, December-ish. And of course, that means that the food is, I think it was like 75% of the stuff I got was food. And that stuff was all expired. I mean, way past the best buy date. Now, you can sell food on eBay, and I have before, and it's fine. I've sold food on eBay, made money off of it. Wasn't planning on that. And sometimes you get some stuff that you'd keep yourself, right? It's like, cool, you know? And we did find a lot of cool stuff, but it was mostly expired. So I had to get on the horn, call the company, and they have a dispute process. But honestly, I don't think liquidators should be able to liquidate old expired food, something that could get someone sick. You know, I was even thinking about the idea of maybe donating a lot of this food, but I don't even think they'd accept it for one, but I wouldn't feel right donating stuff. I mean, this stuff should have been thrown in the trash. I mean, it was all case packed. So $450 loss. I mean, even the supplemental stuff that was sellable wasn't to me worth. I mean, I could probably lot some stuff up and make a few bucks here, maybe make some of the money back, but was very disappointed to the point where I'm talking to them. If they don't, honor my dispute, do something for me, and I'm willing to bring it back if they need me to, even though it's going to be a pain. I'm certainly going to look at other remedies. I've done chargebacks before, and I don't have a problem with doing that again. It's just, to me, it's dishonest. Whenever you put something out that's either is broken or is bad, then it's just dishonest. And there's a trash can for that. When I liquidate the stuff that I can't sell, it's one of those things where I look through it and make sure it's not broken, not expired. I don't push my bad stuff on other people unknowingly. That's just bad business. So that was my day-to-day scrambling around. And because I have to do a dispute, I'm now taking that stuff, putting it in my photo area, lining it up so you can see the expiration dates, because I have to show them that's all expired. And that's like an hour and a half later. Get back here, scrambling around to try to get my material ready, and really kind of ran out of time. You guys know how that is. So not a fun day for me, but you know what? That's the business. We're going to have bad days, and we're going to have to just find ways to shake it off. That's just the way it is. eBay Open's been going on, I believe, since Wednesday. Now, I say I believe since Wednesday because my initial intention was to attend it, but after I'm missing it the first day and reading what some people were complaining about, I got to tell you that a lot of this stuff was pre-recorded. There was no, from what I understand, a lot of real interaction. I know they had the networking channels where you can go in and network with other people either in your area or in the field that you sell in. That's fine. I've done that before. That's where I met Katie and Vicky and was invited to a barbecue, I believe in June. I didn't make it then either because I didn't actually get the invite for that. The goal is to finally reach out and meet them whenever I can. So if you guys are watching, I doubt they are. Katie, Vicky, again, I apologize. And Biscuit Butt didn't make it because he's like, hey, if you're not going to go, I ain't going either. So Biscuit Butt shot over here and helped me sort through this mess that I brought back here. And I'm pretty happy, though. If anything good came out of this mess that I dealt with liquidation today, pretty happy about how my garage is set up to where I can unload stuff and it doesn't make a huge mess like it used to. It's somewhat organized, and I'm very happy about that. I have the rack where I put all the stuff that I plan on getting to right away, sort of the unloading rack, and then I have a section where I have empty tubs I can just put stuff in that I'm not going to quite get to right away. So very happy about that. Again, I recommend anyone who needs to maybe do some reorganizing to pull everything out of your garage. Just, take a Saturday or Sunday to do that, a day off, pull it all out and rework it. Get your shelves in a way where you can get to them. They're not, and you can create a walkway in and out of your garage. I promise you, if you have a lot of merchandise, that's going to help you quite a bit, like it's helped me. So back to eBay Open, though. If you guys, and I normally don't shout out a lot of channels, but Daily Refinement came out with a video. Him and Tech and Sports had the little discussion with their group. And I was listening to that while I was waiting for my pallet to be brought out to me, which was an hour late, by the way. That was another problem. They brought it to me an hour late. But I was listening to their channel, listening to a lot of different channels. And they're talking about how eBay Open came out with like 13 things that you should do to succeed on eBay. And a lot of it is the stuff that they talk about, that we talk about on this channel. And I think I mentioned that, they've talked about how important it is to contact or reply to your customers when they send you a message, right? When they reach out to you, whether it's thank you, you should be saying you're welcome. Again, thank you for your business. Don't let that message sit, because eBay looks at how long it takes you to reply. And they're not going to dig down and see, oh, they just said thank you. They're going to look to see the average reply time. And they have the the computing power, or whatever you want to call it, in their algorithm to figure that out. And if you're letting messages just go, oh, this doesn't need a reply, that actually hurts you. And to reply back in some way, shape, or form is something that you should be doing as quickly as you can. And I know that there's a metrics for this on Mercari. There's actually a badge for it to reply. You reply back to buyers in a timely manner. And the difference between Mercari and eBay is Mercari is just showing you a badge for it. eBay is not saying anything to you. But the fact that they came out and it's one of the 13 things that they want you to do to succeed on eBay, and there's more than 13, guys. But for them to actually mention that as one of the 13, got to start being more customer focused. Got to make sure you have your app. You may not be at home to reply in a timely manner, but have your app signed into your account. Now, the problem that I have 2 accounts, right? I'm starting to get my other account built up with my memorabilia, my patches. I've added a lot of LPs, records to that. If I'm logged into my main account and I get a message or, a return request or whatever on that other account, I'm not going to see it. So you need to be mindful. And look, I'm guilty of this as well. Be really mindful of your secondary accounts. Constantly check your accounts. Be on top of it. Don't just look at one account, your main account, and leave your secondary account to the wayside. It's very important because eBay is trying to create a platform. They're mimicking a lot of other sites. And I knew this a while back. We talked about it a while back, where eBay is trying to be like Mercari. They're trying to be, well, not really so much Mercari, Amazon, Poshmark, right? Where that social aspect of interacting with your customers by sharing listings. Now, eBay hasn't gone that far, but they're still watching you. They're still keeping track. And it makes sense. If you listen to the video, then I'm not going to put a link, but after we're done here, if you have time, go listen to that video from Daily Refinement. I don't always agree with Chris, but I do like the video. I think it was actually pretty informative as for someone who didn't see that. And I was scrambling around before to find the exact list. But what stuck out to me was the fact that they really want you to interact with your customer. Look, it's not so easy that you're just going to list an item, you're going to get someone to buy it, and you ship it out. I wish it was that easy, but it's not. There are going to be times where you need to interact with your customer. They send you a message asking you a question about the item. That's your first chance to make an impression. And really, forget about the algorithm for a second. Let's think about your customer. How impressive is that to a customer that they send out a message not expecting a reply right away, and you jump on it right away, giving them the answer or maybe sending the offer that they're asking for? That's impressive. And it does two things. It sets a good impression about you and what you're selling, who you are as a person that they're going to have to deal with. And it prevents them from looking any further. If for instance, they're looking to fulfill a need, they're looking to buy your item, okay, or an item that you're selling. There's maybe 100 more that's for sale. They send a question to you. Maybe they're going to give you 5-10 minutes. Then they're going to move on to the next seller. You get back to them. You have a good price. You've given them the right answer. Well, guess what? They're probably going to stop right there and buy your item. I've seen it many times. So don't discount that as being important. Guys, I got to tell you, if your sales are slow and you've done most of the stuff that we've talked about on this channel, there's still probably some things that you can be doing differently. And if your lack of customer service or lack of getting back to your customer in a timely manner is something, we've got to be honest with ourselves. Is it really something you need to work on? That could make a difference. We're talking one sale a day on average. That's 30 sales in a month that you're maybe missing out on. So let's talk about eBay Open. Have you guys gone through the eBay Open process? Again, I'm looking at a lot of people who are on the forums who are just saying, it's not not what they were expecting. Again, it was like a canned presentations, no real Q&A, no real opportunity to ask the tough questions. But again, we've had that in the seller check-ins where we've asked the tough questions and they won't touch it with the 10-foot pole anyway. So, again, I really wish that eBay would get back to, I know they had one in LA, New York, and I think Chicago. I'm not sure the other location where they charge like $20 on a limited basis. You can go there and do the little workshops or whatever. But I'd like to see eBay do that again on a larger scale. Love to see them do it in Las Vegas again. And hopefully that happens because I would like to just interface with a lot of the higher ups at eBay, get the real tough questions asked. Because look, I'm not trying to be malicious with my questions. I mean, if eBay's watching right now, they need to understand that channels like mine, we're just trying to figure this thing out. We want to know what we should be doing. We want to know the things that we are doing that doesn't have an impact on our business as compared to the stuff that we aren't doing that maybe has an impact on our business. And we just want the questions, the tough questions answered. And I don't understand if it's a partnership between eBay and their sellers, then they need to understand that we want to be involved in that process. That shouldn't be, we're not asking for trade secrets here. We're not asking for information that's going to allow us to go out and make our own website like a lot of you guys want. We just want to know how to play the game. We want to know what they expect of us. Now, them releasing this, now I've looked online. I didn't get an email. I didn't get a message showing the 13 things. But a lot of the things that they were talking about, communication was one of them. Getting your items listed. Now, they didn't come out and say that you need to be listing on a daily basis, okay? But listing consistently is one of those 13 things. Now, to me, it's daily for me. For you, it might be 2 or 3 days a week, but I promise you, if you get more consistent, rather just listing 100 items on Saturday and calling it a week, if you get consistent with those same 100 items, maybe launch 10 of them and put the other 90 in your drafts and launch them every day before you go to work, you're going to notice a little different pattern in your traffic and also into your sales. So again, we're going to get to your questions and stuff, but I want to know what you guys think of the whole eBay open process. Are you impressed? Now, again, for what I've heard, talking about the instant payment on best offer, well, guess what? I think eBay is kicking the can, because from what I understand, they're telling people that they're hoping to have it in play for everyone by the end of the year. But didn't they tell us by the end of the summer? And yesterday was the end of the summer, and I still have a best offer that I accepted. I'm still waiting payment on, and had another best offer that I accepted. The guy reached out to me 20 minutes later, tried to blame it on his son for, he didn't need this. I had a virtual reality headset, and tried to blame it on his son. Now, of course, I canceled it, but I could have gone another 4 days and said, you know what, we'll just let it be a strike on your account. But that's 4 days that I can't list the item to sell it. So, to me, eBay really needs to stop making, or even don't even mention it. I don't even know if it was really a promise. It was a goal maybe, but a lot of people took it as a promise, and don't mention it. I mean, by the end of the year, we were talking about having it for auctions, let alone just for best offer. Are we going to have it for auctions at all at any point down the road? It's just, you set expectations whenever you're running a business. You set the bar low so that you can please your customer. Like, wow, you over delivered. All we see right now, and this is just another criticism, eBay is under delivering what they've been promising us, and I'd just rather them not even promise anything or mention anything if they're not going to follow through with it. So that's my gripe for the day. Let's see what we have here. Matthew Barrow says, I recently acquired a lot of China. Is not what I normally sell, which will be solar and LED lighting and green products. But see, I've been inactive for such a long time. It should be good for stars. I don't know. Well, okay, awesome. Never hurts to branch out. And he says, come to think of it, I just ordered a part that said delivered and never showed up. Give it a day extra before I report it. Check my neighbors. So whenever you get something, whether you're a seller or a buyer, what I've noticed is, and it seems to happen a lot closer to the holidays, you're going to get that scan on an item that shows delivered, and it never is delivered, right? And they're cheating a little bit. Yeah, it might be here in your area, it might be at your post office, but they haven't delivered it, and it's usually about a day or two behind, unfortunately. And if you ever get a buyer that says, hey, it shows delivered, but I didn't get it, tell them to give it a day or two, that it's possible that it could arrive a little later. No One Design 2. Hey, John and guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. Prosser Independent Trading Company. Hey, John. And we have Ed, the Reselling Writer. Happy Friday. I'm going to have Ed on next Friday. So we're going to just chat about different things. It's always good to have a different perspective when you're talking about reselling, and I like to have guests on. So we're going to have him on next Friday, and looking forward to that. And didn't get a chance to set it up, but I'm going to have Ed also help moderate the live, so that there's some of these bozos that get on here and start posting stupid stuff, we can just nip that in the bud. We have Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida. Thanks, buddy, for hanging out with us. We're supposed to start out our dry season in 22 days. So awesome. Send some of that rain over here. We'll take it here in Vegas. No One Design says eBay is increasing their photo bank, but we don't know if it's free or charged. Back in the old days, if sellers wanted more photo space, there was a fee. Yeah, I hope that it's going to encourage people to maybe list with more than just 1 or 2 photos. I mean, you should always be doing that. I think they're probably increasing the size of their servers because of the whole video feature. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if they started feeing us this, that, and other thing, but I hope not. I hope they don't say, hey, you're allowed 6 free. And if you want any more than that, if you want to use the video, it's going to cost you 50 cents or something like that. That would, and I shouldn't even have said that, because if eBay's watching, that just gave you an idea. Hopefully something like that doesn't happen, but we'll see. Savage Picker says, hello from Maryland. Sales tanked and had 4 returns. Been a horrible few days. Yeah, and your good days are going to be balanced off by your bad days. You just got to ride that roller coaster. And unfortunately, that happens. Like a couple weeks ago, I had 2 returns in the same day that were over $150. And it is what it is. It's that feeling like, you feel kind of dejected. But what's getting upset about it going to do? It's not going to change anything. So to me, it just gets me more determined. That means I just got to get out there and work harder, right? Biff Boffo says, haven't seen any eBay open, so wondering if there's any news. Kind of hope not, because it's usually screwy. I do know they're working on some more categories. I think, like if you're into figurines, that kind of thing, that they're changing categories and item specifics around within those categories. I think also in eBay Motors, there's some changes. Just kind of touched on that the other day. I know a lot of you guys can't really check out the eBay seller forums, but when you have a chance, just check out the eBay seller forums just to get a pulse on what people are, happy about or upset about, because that will, as a seller, you want to keep up to speed. And like, unfortunately, this channel isn't always going to be able to provide it all the time. And that's why you should always, stay up to date, not only from this channel, but other channels as well, channels that you can trust. Ed says, I think the 24 photos will help so much, especially for me with the shoes. 24 though? Man, I could barely get 12. And, I'm doing Zooms. And a lot of you guys, maybe not watching this channel, but a lot of resellers, I'm looking at stores that maybe have 1 to 2 photos. And while you can still get sales, try to maximize those 12 out. Find unique things about, let's say, a pair of shoes. Zoom into the tag, zoom into the laces, zoom into the back, the front, any unique things or anything that maybe something you want them to know about to prevent a return, I think is very, very helpful. And you use that zoom in such a way where you throw a background removal on it. It just makes it look so professional. It almost looks like you stolen the stock photo. I've number of times I've looked at my photos, and after I've gone through and edit them and added the background removal tool, it's looked better than the actual listing from like Amazon or Walmart or any one of those locations online. Ed says, I think a bad day for a part-time reseller would be a very different feeling compared to a full-time. Yeah. 1 return request would probably make a part-time seller feel really kind of down in the dumps, especially if they're only selling 1 or 2 items a day max. For me, 6 to 12 a day. I only had 6 yesterday. It wasn't a very good day between the 2 accounts, but I can just imagine going back to that time when I was part-time. There's days I didn't get any sales, and it's because I wasn't consistent. Now I have no excuse. I have no full-time job, which was my priority at the time. To a lot of things come up when you're full-time. You have family, you have other obligations, and sometimes you tend to put eBay on the back burner, which is why so important. If you're listing 5 items a day, try to list another 2, put them in your bank, so that if something comes up, you can get to them. Prosper says, hey, John, I put a store on time away for a little bit when sales are slow. That picks up the sales, but you still get to list. Yeah, you got to do it. You got to list. I believe what eBay was saying in the eBay Open, the 13 things, they were talking about actual listings and building your store, fresh listings. And I know a lot of us do the, sell similar. We do the whole bulk edit to refresh our stores. And I believe that there's something to that. I believe that you can really get a boost with that. But at the same time, I think by doing your daily listings, and really want to strive for 5 if you can. Like today, I wasn't planning on doing a whole lot of listings. So I have my bank, was planning on launching it. Not going to launch it until after this live stream. But you know, it's a priority. You got to make it a priority. If you do nothing else every day, get those listings up. No one designed too. I think you'd be better doing the video stills for 360 view than wasting time on 24 photos, maybe. Yeah, you know, I'm going to do those. I finally got all my records sorted, and I found a listing that was very intriguing. Of course, I'm going to do the variations. I got my rock albums. I got my R&B albums. I got my classical. I got my country. Got all that stuff sorted out, and I got a cool little crate here that has a chalkboard on one end. So, you'll write in like 60s, 70s, 80s rock, right? And put the records in, and then take a video where I'm just thumbing through real quick all the titles. I saw a listing do this. Got it done in 50 seconds for about 80 different listings. They're firing through them. But as a buyer, you can go, oh, that's the album I want, and that gives them a glimpse at the albums you're selling as a variation. And that's kind of what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not sure it's within the spirit of the variation listing. I know that if you have like a shirt and you have blue, red, green, and all that other stuff, that's kind of what variations are for. But I've seen many, many listings, many, many sellers make many, many sales selling, let's say, rock albums, right? Different artists and that type of thing. And they haven't been shut down. So you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. May not make a video on it, but that's kind of my plan. We have GT in the house. Yo-Yo. We got Shirla Laurent in the house. Bling Factor Australia. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We're a little over 70. Trying to hit that 100 mark. But, it is what it is. We're going to have slow days. We're going to have, busy days on these live streams. But the fact that we've got 60 to 70 people taking time out of their day to either listen to this while they're working or to just hang out in the chat. I want to thank you guys for that. Ed says, whoops, we already did that. Dom says, do you think a single seller can saturate the market of a specific category with 100+ auctions? Notice stuff sells for more when I run less auctions. Yes, you can saturate your own market. You can have multiples of the same item up. And let's say, again, you only have a couple buyers looking for that item. There's already a number of sellers selling that item, and then you go and dump more items into that. So you can certainly saturate the market to where, let's say you have this one item starting at 99 cents and you list multiple auctions that happen to be, maybe the variations are different, right? And you're starting them all off at 99 cents. Maybe they all perform the same or similar functions. Well, you're going to pique the interest of this guy at 99 cents. Well, this other guy is going to jump on this other 99-cent item when it really goes for $10. You're probably better just making a fixed listing, maybe with variations at a set price so that you don't lose money. I've been there, done that, and had multiples, and it's very tempting to want to move it, right? By listing 3, 5, 7-day auctions and thinking, okay, if I do this right, I'll have all these sold in a week. But what you'll find is, and I'll give you an example. I saturated a market with pool tables. Like it was maybe 12 years ago. So I helped a business owner who just bought a bowling alley. And they had a bunch of these Harley Davidson pool tables. And they weren't very old. They're pretty good condition, but they wanted to put something more modern in. And so they said, hey, can you help me sell them? Now, of course, there's a local pickup. I think the first pool table we sold was over $10,000. Okay. And then we listed another one that went for $8,000. We listed, and these were all on auction. Okay. We listed another one that went for like $7,500. And then I think there's one more. It only went for a little over $6,000. And that's just the market. Once you run out of interested people, you've already fulfilled their need. Well, they're not going to, be there to bid up your item. So there's just something to think about. But certainly you can definitely saturate your own market. Had we have sold those pool tables over a period of months. So let's say this month I'm going to list one, and I'm going to give it a month before I listed another one. But we did like back to back. So once this one sold, we launched another one for 5 days, and then we launched another one for 5 days. I would have waited and gapped them out maybe a month between listings, I'm sure we would have gotten more money. I think it was all said and done. We ended up getting about $32,000 before fees. It would have been closer to 40 had we waited. And that's a pretty penny. It's a lesson learned, but certainly don't saturate your market. No One Design 2 says eBay also said by the end of this year, all buyers are required to enter in the payment info before accepting offers and normal buying on eBay. Yeah, at this point, I'm kind of in the mode of believing it when I see it. And I almost feel bad on reporting it because, it gives you, it gets your hopes up, gets my hopes up, it gets us, fired up, and then we get disappointed. And, sometimes I guess when it comes to what eBay says, you got to believe it when you see it. And it's unfortunate. Now, when they talk about be prepared for fees, they're coming. We're going to fee you on this. We're going to add a fee on that. We're going to up the minimum promoted listing rate on this. I guess you have to believe it. I mean, when did they ever kick the can on raising the fees? I've never seen it. But when it comes to increasing or improving the seller experience, it's hit and miss, unfortunately. And eBay, I'm just being real with you. If I'm being dishonest, please show me where. Please tell me how I am being dishonest or unfair. You guys really got to do better. Do better. And that's what I'm rooting. I'm rooting for you guys to succeed, because when you succeed, we are all going to succeed. Ed says, I'll believe it when I see it as well. And then Dom says, do you go in and delete banned buyers after a year? Do you ever adjust your banned buyers list? No, I don't. And it turns out that sometimes a lot of these banned buyers become NARU, not a registered user. And that's fine with me. If they want to reach out and say, hey, why can't I buy this item? It takes a lot for me to block someone. Like just the other day, I had someone that offered me $10 on a $20 item. I came back and said, hey, this is where I'm at, 15. They came back and all they just said was 10. And it's like, did you not read what I said? I mean, just throwing me back the same number. Of course, that's not even negotiating, but it's just ridiculous. It's a waste of my time. So I went back in and I replied 0 and I went and blocked them. So again, I don't want to leave that last message sent by the buyer. I want to be the one to send the last message, because if eBay is timing my response, I don't care how ridiculous their messages are. And it wasn't even an offer. They just sent me a message, and I have offers on most of my items. Semper Fi is in the house. So, hey, thanks for hanging us with us today. Ed wants to know, was it manifested, the liquidation lot that I bought? No, it wasn't manifested. It was one of those things where you just kind of used to buying from a certain liquidator, and you kind of get an idea of the things that they've sold in the past, and you had good success. And I trusted my gut. Now, if it would have been a bunch of food and it had a couple months left on the expiration and they're just kind of pulling it from the shelf and moving it before the stuff is expired, then you know what? I'm good with that. There's still a market for that, but there is absolutely no market. I can't even feel good about giving this to the food bank. We're talking just probably, I don't know, about maybe 200 items. I mean, we're talking about case packed, not just individual, talking about different cases of stuff, talking about snacks. We're talking about a lot of soy milk. We're talking a lot of almond milk. I mean, you wouldn't want to use that after the expiration. And these are not really expirations. They're called best by dates. But do you really want to chance that, consuming it yourself or even giving it away to somebody? I certainly wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't feel good about it. Semper Fi says sales are slowly climbing, still in the 15 sales per month range. Have been doing the end and do similar. And you got to. And you know what? I don't know how big your store is, but keep adding value. Keep adding items which add value to your store. I mean, if you're, let's say you're adding $200 worth of items a day, try to find a way to add $300 per day. And I hesitate to tell you to list 10 and list 50, because I think sometimes we get in the mode of, oh, I listed 10 today, so I did good, but you only listed 10 $10 items. So you list a $100 item, $100 worth of merchandise, and then wondering why you didn't sell more than 100 today. add value to your store. My store has dropped in value because I can't seem to keep up with the value because I'm constantly listing, but I'm getting a lot of sales because I'm doing all the things. I'm showing consistency. I'm doing all the things that we talk about on this channel, to the point where there's still more things I need to do to improve, and I can't get to it. Ed says they probably wouldn't accept it since it's past the date, and I wouldn't want them to take the, if I go to a food bank, there's people probably, I'm sure some of these, like I got a box of Twinkies that are like a year old. I mean, I think Twinkies are like probably the best food that you can keep, like in a nuclear apocalypse. Those things don't go bad ever. And I'm kind of still hesitant on, I like Twinkies just like the next guy, but I'm still going to kind of look at it funny. And I certainly wouldn't donate those because they're past the expiration date. Biff Boffo says those dealers operated in bad faith because they know the stuff is for resale. Right. And even then, why would you, even if they said, look, we're selling this food or we're donating this food, short of the trash can, there's no place for expired food. To me, it would be a liability, right? If I got sick or someone got sick off of this food and we could trace it back to this company who knowingly sold it beyond the expiration date, that's negligent. I think they could get in some trouble. I don't know what the laws are here in Nevada on that, but to me, that just is bad. And that's going to be where I'm going to go in and I'm going to make my case. I spent a good hour outside just putting things together where I can show them the expiration dates. I've got stacks and stacks and stacks of these case pack boxes of food. And that's going to be my next step tonight. I'm going to be making my case tonight. And if they come back and say, sorry, go pound sand, then I'm going to go in and do a chargeback. And I hate doing that, but it's a last resort. This is their business. They're not selling for someone to come in and eat my stuff or eat this food. They're selling it to resellers. They know where the stuff is going, and they know that it's the same as selling broken merchandise. Let's see here. Ed says, if it was inventory from last year, does that mean pallets are going to be more widely available for you because all the excess inventory? It could be. But the problem is I'm seeing a lot fewer liquidators with the number of lots that they're offering aren't the same, and it's fewer. So maybe there's a lot of inventory to the brick and mortar right now, but it hasn't reached the liquidation stage just yet, at least from the different vendors that I deal with. Peter Harmer, not Hammer, says, why do buyers look for an error listing and still buy them and want to return? Seen some members want to be a pain instead of letting the seller know pre-sale. Well, it's because sometimes your buyers don't read. Sometimes your buyers don't read that, oh, okay, I'm selling this shirt and there's a blem at the bottom or there's a small stain or whatever. And even though it's new with tags, it somehow got stained or nicked, or it's a blem from the factory. And you take the time to put that in your listing and they never see it because a lot of buyers just don't read, unfortunately. Ed says, I'm curious to see if Joe has any of his questions answered during the Q&A. So that's Joe from the Crazy New York Driver channel. You know what? Even if he didn't, he has some inside people. I'm sure he has the resources that he can reach out to. No One Design 2 says, heard eBay is taking away GSP. They're going to cut their third-party delivery service so they can ship it themselves and not pay their third-party shipper. And I think I heard that too, like on Rockstar's channel, that they're going to make some changes. You know what? To me, it don't matter. If they're gonna model it like Pirate Ship, where you ship it into Pirate Ship, they repackage it, relabel it like Pirate Ship does with their international deliveries. I'm good with that. Again, as long as I know that I'm covered. So the way I have it set up, you might have seen a video that I put out a little while ago, a couple months ago, where the smaller items, anything under a couple pounds, 2 pounds or less, I'm sending it the USPS international delivery. Okay, and a lot of it's either first class or their priority delivery, and I'm using their insurance, and I find that it's cheaper, gives the buyer a cheaper option. But if my item is heavier than 2 pounds, I'm just going to do global shipping because I don't want to bother with it. And you get that little extra protection that you would get for someone that says, hey, it arrived damaged, because we don't know how eBay is going to handle it. We don't know if, they're going to throw it off the 747 once it gets into that foreign country's hands and they don't have the same standards as, say, USPS. Well, as sellers, we can't do anything about that. So if you're selling like something that's made of glass or something that's fragile, chances are it could get broken. And having global shipping, and if they continue to provide that service that way, then continue using global shipping. Tommy's in the house. Tommy Bernard podcast. eBay Open was a waste of time. Think of how much actual work you can get done instead of listing to clueless people at eBay. Yeah. So for me, that's kind of my mindset. I've gone to a lot of the seller check-ins and spent a good hour and a half. And aside from the people that you get a chance to interact with, and hello here and how you doing there, I kind of feel it's like eBay. It's like a long commercial for eBay. And it's only them highlighting the things they want you to know about. And don't tell me that eBay doesn't know about the problem with the lack of no payment for best offer, the glitches that we see on a daily basis on their lister or their platform, the various categories that are incorrect, or the item specifics that are all out of whack. And that's just to name a few things. How about get out in front of it and say, you know what, guys, we really understand that there's a lot of things that we need to do better. And we are really going to take the stance of doing better to improve the seller. That's all I've ever asked for. The communication to acknowledge the seller experience. Don't just put us, make us sit through, in this case, 3 days of an eBay commercial. And there are some things, maybe some things that like Chris from Daily Refinement mentioned in his video he put out earlier. The 13 things that eBay has really put out there that we need to be doing, but it's all the things that we talk about on this channel, and it only confirms what they should have told us a long time ago, I think. Let's see. Ed says, I only went in for the first day of eBay Open and the networking with Joe, and after that everything else seemed repetitive again and was just the same message over and over and over. It didn't bother with day 2 or 3. Yeah. Let's see. Tommy says, BS. I reply 1 in 30 to 50 messages at best. But now the argument is you're kicking butt on the sales, so that doesn't matter. You reply to 1 in 30 or 50. Makes me wonder how much more traffic you're going to get to your listings, how much higher placement you're going to get in search because you've hit that metric of answering your messages in, either at all or in a timely manner. And if eBay is willing to come out and say, here's 13 things that you guys need to do and to focus on to improve your sales, there's got to be some merit to it. Whether or not, you might have great items. You probably do. You're probably doing it at a great price and you're promoting the heck out of it. You're doing enough to override that. But I'm wondering if you did improve in that area, how much better it would be. Let's see. Ed says, I reply to most messages, but I ignore the obvious bad message and measurements message. And to me, it's just, I'm playing their game. If they say it's no good to land on free parking because you can't get a little pot that's in the middle. You guys ever play Monopoly where you add, all your fees go in the middle and someone lands on free parking, that kind of thing. If they finally said, look, you get nothing for landing on free parking, then yeah, maybe I won't try to land on free parking. But for me, if they're saying there's something into landing on free parking, I'm going to try to roll a 5, hit free parking, right? As bad of an analogy that is. And guess what? I'm going to give myself a pass because there are so many channels that give bad analogies. And so there you go. I'm going to keep doing it. Let's see. Dom says, obviously I reply to messages that need a response, but there's so many that do not require responses to the buyer. So like, let's say they say thank you, right? And that doesn't need a response. But eBay is not drilling down to what's being said. They're just looking at the buyer sent you a message and there's no return message coming back. and I'll just throw a, you're welcome, hey, thanks for shopping with us or something like that. That's what I'm going to do. To me, it's going to take 5 seconds out of my day, maybe fire up the app, hit the little, the voice, whatever I can't even think of the word, but you can just speak in your phone and it dictates the voice dictation. Go in there and boom, it's done. Send it, be done with it. Tommy says, anything daily refinement says holds about as much weight as my 4-year-old. Can't believe anyone pays attention to those scammers. Well, I do watch a lot of different channels. And, for me, there's sometimes I'll watch content from these very same channels that kind of like make me go, what the heck? And it prompts me to go in and make a video to say that's not right. There's good information from a lot of these channels. There's some that just really pertain to maybe the field that they're selling in, or if you're selling in this kind of environment that's not conducive to a reseller that's just by themselves, that's doing it on their own. It's totally different. A lot of times the message from that channel is really tailored to someone that does it like them. But there's still good information. And honestly, a lot of what Tech says, I think is really spot on. And I kind of like it. So I really enjoy listening to that guy because I think he knows his stuff. But to have a channel, I think, where you say to them, pay $35, pay $40, and we'll give you the extra content or because that's what it is. It's the extra insight. To me, it's just, why not provide it? You're getting 100,000 subs or plus. You're getting a lot of money from YouTube. Why do we need to get greedy? That's just kind of the way my mindset is. And I don't think I could sleep at night if I did that to you guys. And I don't know how many people would sign up for such a service, but I'm not going to do that to you guys. There may come a day where I say, look, I can't answer all these emails and give you guys one-on-one help, but maybe like a small fee for membership, but that's way down the line. Not even on my radar. I'm still able to answer your guys' questions and try to help you out whenever I can. So right now, that's not in the cards. Ed says, I wish eBay would adopt the 3-day limit to accept a return an item. If they did that, it would be 100% better. I mean, how many days do you need to say, hey, there's a stain on the shirt? How many days do you need to say, look, this doesn't fit well on me? Really. So you're basically saying, I'm going to let you rent this item and use the heck out of it. And so for me, I'm like, for instance, Halloween costumes. I've got a few of them up. I've got like the stuff I've been sitting on. I don't want to sell any after this weekend coming up. Or actually by next Friday, I don't want to sell any of them. Because what's going to happen is, if you're within 30 days, they're going to buy your costume or your accessory. And I'm not saying everyone's going to do it, but guess what? It's going to open up that door where they buy it 1st of November, 29th day, going to open that return saying it doesn't fit. Maybe it doesn't fit anymore because you ate all that candy that you went trick-or-treating in with and you wore that outfit. But now you're going to make me take the return because you don't need it anymore because Halloween's already done. So I'm hopeful that all my Halloween stuff gets bought, and I've got a few more things from this last bundle I just picked up that are Halloween decorations. I'm going to undercut whoever's selling that same item to get rid of it. Yeah, Dom says daily refinement has snake oil salesman tendencies for sure. I don't want to say a whole lot more. I don't like to dog other channels. I mean, maybe I've said some things in the past, but I don't like doing it. I just personally, you guys have your own opinions. You guys know every once in a while I have my own opinion, but personally for me, I just don't like to do that. For me, it's a large community. One day I'll meet the guy, and I'm not saying I'm starstruck by the guy. I have my own thoughts about how he's not interacted with me when I've, as a beginner, have reached out when he's told his audience to reach out and he never got back to me. That kind of thing doesn't sit well with me, but I'm not going to come on here and bash the guy. He does have some good information, in my opinion, on his channel. Tommy says he's been banned from everything in life. Yeah, eBay. And makes me wonder, how long does one have? What's the shelf life on someone who doesn't sell on eBay anymore? Just to give eBay advice. But as long as the advice sounds good and it makes sense, I'm good with it. Ed says, I reply to messages within 10 minutes. Most of the time, the buyer always says, thank you for replying. And they sometimes, if you reply really fast, they're like, wow, I'm surprised you replied so fast. That sets a good impression on the buyer. No One Design 2 says, replying to buyers' offers question is fine for smaller store, but when you have scaled that, it's impossible. That it becomes more difficult. I agree with you there. It becomes more difficult. Yakov Ben says, just dropping in to say hi. Hey, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for just saying hi. I appreciate that. We have almost 100 people. So if we can get 4 more people on here, I'd certainly think that would be great. We can hit that 100 mark. But do me a favor, guys. If you're enjoying the content, hit that like button. Certainly, I'd ask you to subscribe, but I don't need to tell you to subscribe. If you like the content, you're going to do it anyway. Wouldn't want you to subscribe if you're not going to watch the videos or the channel, because I think that's negative. That hurts the channel. But hit that like button while you're watching. I appreciate that. Dom says, frankly, eBay has done a poor job this year, and it's a shame they aren't willing to actually talk to their sellers. They do, but it's funny. No one's ever gotten back to me with the question I asked earlier in the year. And you guys know the question. What's the negative impact on receiving a negative feedback to a seller within the first 48 hours? And that great question. We'll get back to you. Nobody got back to me. They just punted. Tommy says they can't answer the questions. That is the problem. The departments have no clue. Right, left hand and right hand. And again, these folks who are up here with the smiley faces on the eBay Open may have an idea of how it works, but I'm willing to bet they don't list items like some of their front-end employees do, or the way we do. Ed says eBay is scared because they know they can answer the question every seller is asking. Like that time, John's answer almost got answered, but was stopped. Yeah, she literally got like a text telling her, don't even touch this with a 10-foot pole. Dom says, Tommy, he's on Whatnot. It's worth watching him occasionally. Sometimes I wonder if fudges his sales numbers on there. Hard to say. As far as the daily refinement, he is on Whatnot. He's going to find ways to move his merchandise. And I don't doubt he sells his merchandise. He has a lot of followers. And, if I had more folks, I have a lot of followers, but I don't know how many people would want these military badges and things like that I'd be selling on there. So that's why I haven't done it yet. Donchina Donna says eBay is one huge Squid Game. You must follow exactly to get ahead. Yes. Have you ever watched the show Squid Game? It's a rat race. eBay is a rat race, and you just got to play their game. They set the rules. Unfortunately, they don't tell us what the rules are. We have to figure them out on our own. Urban Fossiker says, good morning, all. Thank you for hanging out with us today, or this morning for you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Get down here to some of your. Oh, we have Cincinnati Picker in the house. Under promise and over deliver. eBay has never done this. They've never done it. But hopefully, I don't know. I'd like to think that sometimes it's channels like this or Cincinnati Pickers or other channels. I think Don the Auction Professor and some others, and whether you agree with them or not, they do highlight things that eBay should do better. And I don't understand why they don't take it to heart and really understand and look at the comments in those videos and really try to improve the seller experience. No One Design 2 says eBay response equals list more every day, fill out all IPs, offer free shipping, return, promote, offer for, discount coupons, sales, and pay us fees. They is the response. So yeah, it's because if they didn't have shareholders, I'm sure the experience would be different. But they have to find ways to justify, how do we lose 9 million? Or was it 9 million? I think 9 million buyers over a 1 or 2 year period. What do we do now? Because we don't have those buyers to buy the items. We got to find ways to add more fees to the existing sellers on here. Not paying any attention to the fact that you're pushing away sellers. And at some point, there has to be an end game. Where does it end? So, it's frustrating and it sounds like I'm complaining, but any serious reseller has seen the increase in fees, and it does make it more difficult to offer bigger discounts to your customers sometimes and to make more money. The Midwest Picker says vacation mode kills my sales. That's why I try to avoid it. I try to stay in business with longer handling times. And then every day that passes, I'm gradually going through doing a really quick bulk edit for all my items to change the handling time and decreasing it by a day every time until I get back. Carl Becker says, greetings. Thanks for hanging out with us, Carl. Trying to catch up, so I'm going to skip through a little bit here. I apologize. Tommy says, eBay is only as good as the person running the store. If ever in doubt, eBay works. List an iPhone. I agree with that argument. I do. And again, I'm not complaining about my sales. Of course, I'm overperforming with the type of items that I have. If I had iPhones, I got to tell you, I wouldn't even need to really put an item description. Those things sell almost immediately once you list them. I listed an AirPods case from like a Generation 2 that came in one of my pallets that was really beat up, used. I took a lot of photos, close-ups of the scuffs, and know that it works. It plugged in and the lights flash as they should. Sold that for like $20 within a 24-hour period. And, I didn't really have to do a whole lot to the listing. Let's see. No One Designs says 8 to 10 photos is an idea. Anything more than that just looks like you're just putting in filler photos. And yeah, I like to do it for the algorithm. I'm always thinking of how to improve the listing, not necessarily always for the customer, but for the algorithm, Tommy says there is no bump for using all 12. Don't believe that BS either. Tommy, I just think you're selling good stuff, man. I think you're selling good stuff. I think you're doing it at a good price. And I think you're doing it, with a pretty good listing at a good promoted rate. I think that overrides anything else that, maybe you're not doing differently. I'd just love to see what would happen if you went in there and did those extra things. Maybe you wouldn't have time to list or to ship because you'd be just selling your store out. I don't know. That's my thought on it. But you're happy with the way you're doing it. Maybe it allows you to get more items listed, by, not putting up more than 3, 4, 5, or 6 photos. Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. I mean, if you're knocking it out, then keep knocking it out. I think for some, it may make the difference between I sold 3 today. Maybe I can make a 4th sale, maybe average 4 sales a day by doing these extra things. TikTok says, oh, I would have a real job right now. To be honest with you, if I had the right offer that came along and said, look, we're going to give you $80,000 to $100,000 and do something similar than what you've done over your last 26 years, I would highly consider it. Of course, I'd still resell on a part-time basis. I certainly think I would. TikTok says, even an old iPhone. I think so. There's a market for older iPhones. But see, here's the thing. It's all dependent on how you price it. If you think you're going to put that iPhone 6 up for $250, well, it's not going to go very, very far. It's going to sit there for a while and may not even ever sell. You have to be in tune with the market. Ping G says, I often do use all 12 photo slots, but some items only need 2 photos. I can't foresee ever using 24 photos unless I have several items available within the listing. Fair enough. Two Hip Chicks says, hey all, my thought is I use many photos as you need to represent the item and any features or flaws. Yes. And a lot of times that can take 12 photos. If you have an item that could be put together or dismantled, has many components, has many flaws, certainly is a good thing to do, is to take as many photos of that. Time Traveler's Chest. Hi, I hope everyone is doing great. Just finished with eBay Open. Want to know your thoughts on eBay Open? Put those in the comments. That would be awesome. No One Design 2 says, if you're selling a vintage rare pencil, how the hell are you going to take 24 of that? I can't think 4 is max. And, there's been times that I've taken 4 photos. Okay. And just for me, I'll just throw them all in there 3 times. And again, I like to play up to the algorithm. I'm overperforming. I shouldn't be selling 6 to 12 items a day, but I am. And the kind of stuff you guys seen my store, I think I'm just playing up to the algorithm, and it allows me to overachieve, I think. Let's see. Let's see who we have here. TikTok says too many items available equals lower prices. So yeah, you got to lower those prices if you want to get those moves sometimes. Sometimes even undercutting your competition. I think sometimes we get caught up in seeing that, okay, wow, this item has sold twice in the last 90 days for 25, ignoring the fact that it's only sold most of the time for 20. We try to, list our item for 25 and wonder why it's still sitting there. So I think we got to get our prices in range with not what's the highest one that's sold, but in range with what is commonly selling for that particular item and its condition. Dom says, I never lose money due to my cost of inventory, but I'm noticing I'm able to manipulate the appearance of scarcity by listing less auctions at once. Stuff sells for more. Yes. Like those pool tables. If I had listed those over a 4-month period, I promise you I would have received more money out of it. Now I was doing it on a commission. I think I was getting after fees, I think I was getting 20%, but I would have made more money. Let's see. Ed says Macari fees is going up by 20 cents per sale on November 1st. That's fine. I just cashed out another $500 yesterday. And their fees on average, because I sell most of the stuff under $20. On average, I'm paying like anywhere from $1.40 to $2.50. So if they're averaging an extra 20 cents, I think that's fine. It's more of my clearance store more than anything else, and it's helped me lose 200 items out of my eBay store. So that's kind of good. Let's see. Tommy says there is no logic. Sheep watch bad channels on YouTube, believe what they say without actually vetting them. Yeah, true. There's a lot of people who, that's one of the reasons why I came up with this channel, because there's some channels and some are still going, some are not even really going much at all, that would come on here and have a content about a certain topic, and the main gist of it, they're like, well, I'm not sure. Well, don't come on here and make a video about this if you're going to tell me that you're not sure. So yes, I agree. Sometimes you do have to vet, and it's over time. You watch videos, you see, oh, well, this guy's kind of talking out of his butt, don't quite agree with that, and then you just don't watch them anymore. There's been a couple channels that I've had to do that with, because it drove me crazy. It's the same thing. I used to work when I worked at the railroad. Other employees would call my department for help. This guy over here is giving a bad answer. I can hear it to someone who needs the help, and I'm just wanting to pull my hair out. And that's kind of how it makes me feel. No One Design says, hit the like button, guys. Let's get John's room, the Breakfast Club vibe. What is the Breakfast Club vibe? I've seen the movie many years ago, but I want to know what that vibe is. So maybe I can try to provide it for you. Veronica says, here in the UK, the eBay buyers want items for free. Yeah, they want them for free here in America too. It's just, for me, I don't give them much time. I put out a video about a week ago. I give them one chance to come to their senses that, look, I'm a business trying to make money. I'm not here to give them items. But maybe the mindset that the government's giving them free stuff, and they think that I'm part of that. I don't know, but I'm not here to give free stuff. Twinkle never expire. You mean Twinkies never expire? I don't think they do. I think that, if anything, I probably should keep that case of Twinkies and just put it in my, emergency stash, just in case the guy over at, in the other country across the pond wants to launch a couple. I'll be able to have something that maybe will, if I can make it through, have something to eat. I don't know, but don't want to get political. Just putting it out there. I think Twinkies, I don't think I've ever seen a Twinkie ever get moldy. In fact, it reminds me of that experiment that someone did, I think on YouTube, like many years ago, where they bought a not a Big Mac, but a McDonald's cheeseburger. They put it on a table and they took a photo of it every day for 6 months, and the thing never changed, never got moldy. If anything, maybe it shrunk a little bit, but I think Twinkies fall into that same category. And Ed says, I haven't had a Twinkie in almost 6 years. And, honestly, it's probably not the best thing to eat at all. But, in a situation, it might be good to have them on hand. And yeah, like McDonald's cheeseburgers, they don't spoil. Let's see. And Peter Harmer says, love the show, dude, not a hammer. Good luck and all the best. Appreciate you, Pete, for being a good sport. I think that was kind of a call out to like last video where Tommy had mentioned something about Peter Hammer. So thanks for being a good sport. I appreciate it. GSP is a good service, but we need to drop the VAT. It's rubbish, puts buyers off. Yeah, value added tax. It does. I had someone that got upset with me because eBay charged them the value added tax, right? Yet they refused the package because Scotland was trying to charge them again, apparently. Well, they refused it. Of course, it came back to me eventually, okay? And they pushed eBay on a refund, an item not received, and it just got kind of nasty. And it didn't need to get that way. And I didn't get nasty. They got nasty at me, and I'm like, look, I'm on your side. I agree. But know that I had nothing to do with that. Tommy says it's like preschool, lower than preschool if there is such a thing. That's eBay open. I could see a value to it for newer people who've been doing it for a year, reselling for a year, and maybe picking up on things, little things here and there. But it's always the same message. Raw sneakers, raw watches. Great, you're selling baseball cards. Here's a highlighted seller. Here's another seller that's doing good. But what about everyone else? That's always been my thought. Chris Wiley says, good evening, John and friends. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Ping G says, I had a hard time understanding a couple of the speakers due to their accents. Let's see. Dom says, just seems like eBay has bigger issues to worry about than us replying to messages that don't need a reply. I get it. But again, I'm just trying to play up to the algorithm. If there's a way I can trick the algorithm into, bumping me up a little bit. I mean, again, I'm going to play the game. That's always what I've been about with eBay. How do I play the game? And there's things that I do that maybe a lot of you guys don't agree with, but it works for me. And maybe some of you guys won't use a stock photo when you're selling a tent. Instead of opening that box and putting the tent up in your backyard to take photos, I'm going to sell it. And my competition, who's a drop shipper, is selling tons of tents because they're using the stock photo. Well, guess what? They're landing on here's another bad analogy. They're landing on free parking and getting paid, and I'm not? No, I'm sorry. Not going to happen. Chris Wiley, I reply to any message usually within moments of them asking, unless it's overnight and when I'm sleeping. No One Design 2, like I said before, smaller stores, they can handle messages, but when you scale by 200, 5 times 200, hell no. I get it. I understand. Donchina Donna says he's not the only one with Patreon. They all are starting it. Yeah, he's not the only one. And for me, though, the message of join my Patreon for $39.99 a month, and I'll give you the special whatever, or just take what I tell you for free. I'm going to always tell you what I know, the best information I can give you, and it's not about charging you money. I make a little bit on YouTube. I know those bigger channels make a lot more than that, and that should be enough, in my opinion. It shouldn't be a money grab, and it comes off as a money grab to a lot of people. Chris Wiley says, I understand each business model is different. It works for me this time, but I make the customer service the top. Yeah, and again, if you're killing it and never replying at all to a buyer, and maybe the idea of, look, if I even generated more business, I mean, I can only handle what I can handle. Then again, do what you're doing. The idea of this channel is to, of course, create a community of ideas. And it's not just my ideas, but I'm going to throw them out there. Maybe 1 or 2 people can benefit from it, and maybe the rest can't. But to me, it was worth it to make a video or just bring it up so I can help others. Biff says, are you sure that eBay couldn't have an AI that understands the nature of buyer messages? I'm not sure of anything with eBay, but I do know that any message that's sent, I'm sure that eBay is expecting a response. Till I find out otherwise, I'm going to continue to do that. Let's see. 11th Pokeball says, you mentioned the Halloween costumes being returned. Would it be similar for Christmas presents unwanted? Yes, it would be if they're, like, say, after December 1st and they're buying these Christmas presents and they're sending them back. Maybe they got 2 of them. Maybe they got an extra one, or I bought this for myself and someone gifted this to me. Well, of course, I can't get the money back from the one that someone gifted me, but I can certainly send this back, even though I've used the hell out of it, and keep the newer one. Certainly. I mean, I think it's more of, I think Halloween plays more into that with costumes and things than it would Christmas gifts. But I certainly think it's a thing, and just know it's going to happen. If you sell a lot of items, just be prepared for that buyer to return that item. Let's see. Veronica says, totally agree with everything you say. No difference here. And then Peter says, shame on the whole mindset of eBay's platform has changed. It's not member to member based anymore. It's new online platform. It's no good. Well, they're constantly evolving, and they're not the same platform they used to be. And that's unfortunate. No One Designs would love eBay had the tech department do the eBay Open, which that'll never happen. How about have people who actually sell on the platform get on there and say, look, I've encountered this myself, and hey, we're going to make this a priority to fix this problem for you. Let's see. Tommy says there's a reason that people charge for information. They don't make money reselling. They need viewer money. Tech and Chris sell $3 items to inflate sales. Research. Yeah, a lot of those channels though, they hide their sales. At least they say they do. I don't know. Again, I know one thing. I'm going to be honest with you guys about my sales, about my struggles, about the disappointments, about my successes, and because look, I don't want to trick someone into quitting their job. Bottom line, I would feel bad if someone said, look, John's killing it. He's selling this crap, and I can sell the same crap. You get the same crap after telling your boss where to go, and you can't pay your bills in 2 weeks because John lied to me or misrepresented it. This game ain't for everyone. Okay. And I made a video last week about that. This game isn't for everyone. Do not go out and quit your full-time job to be like Chris from Daily Refinement, to be like me, to be like Tommy, because it takes a lot of building up to get there. And I'm not even anywhere where I want to be. I want to be better than what I am. I'm constantly trying to get better, but it takes a while. It takes learning process to learn what works and what doesn't. So if I ever try to misrepresent what I'm doing, someone please let me know, because I will definitely do an about face. If it flips your ship says still making sales with 2% promoted, you can. If you have the good item, the good price, the promotion rate is just a little cherry on top. It's just another thing you could do to give your item a boost. And if you have the right item, some items I don't even promote, like my patches. I know I'm not up against high competition. Someone's looking for a World War II patch. I don't have 1,000 people to compete against. I don't need to promote that. In fact, some of your items I'm willing to bet you don't even need to promote. Let's see. Donchina Donna says, expect a retaliation video. You mean from Chris? I don't think he'd give me the time of day. Honestly, he's got a lot going on. Maybe he will retaliate. I don't know. I don't get caught up in that. My thing is that, I am who I am. You guys see that. You guys are still here watching these videos, hanging out with me on live streams. And I think you guys can see through the smoke. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And again, I'm not going to dog in anyone's channel. Like I said, if it's that bad, why am I bothering watching it? So he does provide some good information. And there's sometimes, look, I need to hear a different voice telling me, dude, you need to get your act together. I need motivation. There's days that I'm like, wow, why am I even doing this? But it's through your motivation, through your emails, through other channels, that I too can get the same motivation. I'm just like you guys. I'm no different. Let's see. Biff says, I guess I'm one of the few people that likes Daily Refinement. I don't subscribe to the Patreon group. I don't either, but I'm interested in seeing and like some of the videos where he has the people on, good to hear some other resellers' point of view as well. No One Design 2 says iPhone 4 sells like hotcakes. If it's priced right, yeah, it will. There's people who I don't care. As long as the phone rings and I can send a text message, and I got $20, I've got $40, I'll buy it. Let's see. Timmy Penny says, please explain. I've been listening using my free listings. Now, a few months later, they are charging me 35 cents each for those. I listed for free. Why is this? Maybe that you've ran out. I don't know how many items you've been listing. I know after a certain amount, they start charging you. I'd say if you're over 100 listings, it's probably a good idea to look into a store. I know in design says you probably went over your allotted listing. Let's see. PingG, if you're using your fixed price, they're automatically renew after 30 days, and those count against the free listings. Yes. So you're not selling anything. I listed 200 items last month. Well, when those renew, those eat up your free listings. Ed says Amazon's spoiled buyers in a bad way, return for any reasons. Yeah, that what do they call it? It's a to Z guarantee or whatever it is. You can return it for any reason. That creates a good buying experience, but it's very frustrating as a seller. Let's see. Time Traveler Chess says, I'm new to reseller. I thought it was great. A lot of info. They're going to put up all the videos on their YouTube channel. I did the live and won 3 swag items. It's just like Whatnot. Yeah, they're going to come out with something like Whatnot. I think they're kind of coming in at the end of a trend. I'll tell you why. There's a lot of resellers that sell on Whatnot that are realizing that, you know, I can list this item, this vintage item, and maybe someone will give me $20 for it. But had I listed it for, you know, on eBay and waited a few days, maybe a week, I might be able to get 40 for it. And it's a good way to move slower selling stock, especially if you have a following. A lot of people want to support you. They buy it just in passing, like, hey, you know, I want to support this. I've done it before. I've bought baseball cards from, you know, a great guy that, you know, has supported the channel just by coming on the channel or being part of the channel. And I didn't need the baseball cards. In fact, I gave most of my baseball cards away to Carrie. You guys know Carrie, American Arbitrage. I gave him almost all my baseball cards. I could have sold them, but I knew the guy likes looking through them and he likes them. Consider him a friend. He's local. We go to yard sales. I didn't need them, but sometimes I think it's good to support other channels. And you know, we're gonna have Ed on next week. He's a smaller channel, trying to get up to. I don't know if I don't think he's at 1,000 yet. He's working his way up. So you guys hopefully will be here next weekend. Give his channel some love. And it's all about building up people who want to help other people out. And it's your job as viewers to see through the smoke if there's smoke, see through the agenda if there's an agenda, either support them and give them the support, all the support you can, or move on from them, you know. And that's kind of, hopefully you guys see who I am. And I'm going to support those people who have the same kind of channel. And that's what Joe from Crazy New York Driver did for me. Didn't have to call out my channel and, you know, give me, you know, some support, but he did. And I appreciate, to this day, I appreciate him for doing what he did to help get this channel a kick in the butt. Let's see. PingG says, after 20 years of selling on eBay, I don't learn much from the open, even those I attend face-to-face. I go back network. Yeah, it's probably time better spent watching YouTube videos than to go to eBay open. Let's see. Says, Biff Buffalo says, Daily Refinement does offer full refund on the Patreon fees. He's got a pretty loyal follow. He does have a pretty loyal. I've said some things on this channel that has been maybe misconstrued as me dogging him. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not here to kiss anyone's butt. You know, I have real issues with people that say, hey, look, if you're a new reseller, you know, I'm here to help you. This is before the Patreon thing. And you reach out and say, hey, man, here's my story and any help you can give me. Even a, hey, great story, thanks, would have been nice for me. But to get the ghosted thing twice, did it twice, fell for it the second time, makes me just wonder. And sometimes you'll hear these same people say, look, if you see me in public, probably not going to say hi to you because I'm busy working. That's nasty. Why would you ever say that? And so my thing is, look, we're here to help people or we're not. And if it's about how many viewers I can get, if it's about this is how I supplement my daily life is putting out videos, you know what? Be real about it, I guess. I mean, I think if we talk about that, you know, we're, you know, Harry Tornado, at least the man was honest. He said, look, like what, a year ago, I'm starting to become a YouTuber that happens to sell on eBay. That's honest. Okay. So I got a big problem with that. Either you really want to help people and you really want to be part of the community or you don't. And that's always been my issue. Austin Butler says you can create a separate business policy to not allow returns on your seasonal items. You can, but at the same time, I just don't. I think that it hurts the algorithm, and buyers can always say, "Look, this was misrepresented," and force a return if they want to. And if they're willing to use your item and then try to return it, they're going to be willing to do it whatever they can to get it returned. Trust me on that. Two Hip Chick says you can learn a lot without paying someone for advice, mentoring. Most of what will make your reselling successful is learning from trial and error. Ask questions and do your own research. Yes, I agree with that. So you run into an issue, you can't find the answer, reach out. And whether it's on a forum or like a channel like this, someone's going to be able to at least try to steer you in the right direction. Let's see. So much lies on the net. Big love for the show. Top man, all the best for the future. Thanks, Pete. I really appreciate you hanging out with us. Ed's not at 1K yet, but with your help, he can get there. So I appreciate that. We're going to wind up wrapping up here in a few minutes. So go over to his channel and check out a couple of his videos if you can. That helps smaller YouTubers out. I appreciate that. No One Design 2, eBay Whatnot is coming soon. The money sniffers all over at eBay is itching to get on Whatnot's trend. I think they're a little late for the game. That's just my thing. I really think that they're going to be late for the game. Dom says, I think I've realized that I'm a much happier person when I have part-time job and sell part-time. Downsizing my store has felt amazing. So glad I experienced what full-time selling feels like. And I think it's just an added pressure that you don't have when you're part-time. You know, I'm part-time, maybe going to get some little extra money so I could take the kids to Disneyland, or I can go on the family vacation, or I can do something extra. And now, or maybe just pay my bills. But now it's 100%. I got to do this or find a way to make money online and still pay the bills. And that's a lot more stressful. I definitely can confirm what you're saying there. Hit the like button, guys. I certainly appreciate that. I certainly do. Ed appreciates the shout out, and I hope you guys will take time to go give him some his channel some love. He does. You know, I like the quality of his videos. Like his must have the new iPhone or something to blur out the background. I'd like to know how he does that. Maybe you can send me a little Instagram on some you know, ways to. I like that blurred background. It really sharpens up you know, what you're trying to show people on YouTube. Let's see. Austin says, in that situation, eBay allows you to redact 50% cost and keep original shipping, block buyer, and move on. Yes. Anytime you have a problem with a bad buyer and they send you back something that's not what you sent. So sorry, Charlie. You know, and hopefully you can part it out or sell it as used or whatever and get your money back. So guys, I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for participating, hanging out with me yet again, making this an awesome live stream event. Again, without your participation, wouldn't be much to talk about. So thank you, each and every one of you. Next week, we're going to have Ed on the channel. Hopefully in the next couple weeks, we can get Tommy on here. Got to hit him up on Instagram. I plan on doing that. And I think it'll be a really fun time. So we'll probably have one on Monday, but Friday we'll have Ed on here. And hopefully you guys have reached out and put him over the 1,000K mark. That would be awesome. But little things like eBay Open that eBay invites us to and, you know, wants us to be a part of, I guess they're fun to really participate in with. You don't really learn a lot. So maybe next time, or I don't know if they're doing it over the weekend or not, or maybe today was the last day. They're fun events. Don't get me wrong, but they're not going to give you a whole lot of information. Find your information from trusted sources like this channel, other channels, Facebook forums, and learning is a big part of the process. And it's just finding ways to maximize your time and your resources. That's going to help you grow as a reseller. Yet finding those channels, trusted sources is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent weekend. And we will talk to each and every one of you with my next video very soon. Take care, everyone.